Monday morning quarterbacks are here. Republican strategist Albert Eisenberg and Democratic strategist D. Hawkins Hagler join us this morning. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
Morning.
Let's start with the COVID mandates. I'm sure you all have seen it. You're experiencing it. Events are being canceled. Obviously, they're pushing the vaccines and boosters specifically even harder this time around. Dee, I'll start with you. Do you think it is an overreaction, or is this just a cyclical thing where when we get a new variant, no matter how concerned we are about that specific variant, that this will be the response?
And I know that people are really getting tired of the restrictions, but we have to do what's best in the interest of the public good. And so we're going to see many different variants come about. And so I think it is best that we try to protect as many people as we can. And even if it means you got to put those masks back on and people have to be vaccinated, we have to do what we have to do because we are fighting a global pandemic.
Albert, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Do you think that this should be the reaction every time we see a new variant come around, especially around the holidays? Because obviously we expect the surge around the colder months.
Well, you have a lot of people who have a vested interest in keeping people, under their thumb. Let's put it this way: we have Dr. Fauci saying that he does not see a future where people take their masks off on planes ever. I think that most red and moderate areas are already moving beyond this and living normal lives, and it's really blue areas that are going to be forcing people back into restrictions and mandates, and people are tired of it.
I'll ask you both this question, and Montgomery County specifically comes to mind, even Maryland as a state. Very high vaccination rates, among the highest in the country, both really quickly. Do you think that there should be a focus more on hospitalization rates versus cases? Dee, I'll go back to you.
And I think it should be really on a case-by-case situation. But hospitals right now are doing well for the most part because this surge is just not really starting to take off again. So we do need to pay a lot of attention to what's happening in these hospitals and noticing that many of the people who are really sick are those who haven't been vaccinated.
Albert, vaccination rates, rather cases or hospitalization rates?
With so many cases as asymptomatic or people who are young or healthy, we should really be looking at the severity of the cases only.
All right, let's move on to the second half here. Build Back Better plan. My goodness, Joe Manchin saying he is a no, letting the White House know 30 minutes before he appeared on Fox News. Dee, what happens next here? I mean, is the plan all but dead?
Well, you know what? Many things could be resuscitated. Right now, we just have a little roadblock. It's just a little situation. But many of the Democrats on Capitol Hill are not surprised because Senator Manchin has been playing around for almost a year, ever since this was introduced. And so it's just really one of those situations where we got to go back in and figure out who's really on our team. But Build Back Better is still good for this country. And we're still a little bit upset that the Voting Rights Act wasn't passed as well.
Albert, is Dee being a little overly optimistic here, saying that there's still a chance? What do you think?
Well, Merry Christmas to every working family. We are not going to get $2 to $4 trillion more in inflationary spending, which would have just put fuel on the fire, although Democrats will be trying their best to find a way to spend $2 trillion extra that nobody but their own special interests and their own progressive members are asking for. Joe Manchin signed a deal with Leader Schumer over the summer, which relayed all of his criteria for Build Back Better, and they were continually flouting it. And finally, he just said, sorry, 50-50 Senate. People in West Virginia oppose this by a supermajority. I'm out. That's his role.
Dee, 20 seconds. What's your response to that? He says Merry Christmas. What's your response to that?
I'm still going to say Merry Christmas to him as well. But don't ever count the Democrats out, because we're trying to do what's best for this country. And this is not a simple Democratic Republican issue. This is a bread and butter issue, and we will build back better.
All right, we'll have to see. Either way, politics aside, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to both of you. I should mention really quickly, I know Sanders wanted to bring the vote to the Senate floor. Anyway, we're hearing this morning Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is saying less than an hour ago that he wants to do that as well, make sure Manchin gets that on the record. So we'll have to see. But thank you to both of you for joining us this morning. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, that's Republican strategist Albert Eisenberg, Democratic strategist D. Hawkins Hagler this morning. All right, 7:35 is your time. For the first time.